Hey everybody, it's Brandon here and welcome to another video. I'm going to talk about how fighting games inspired my graphic novel Breath of Kin. So Breath of Kin takes place in a world very similar to ours where martial arts is the world dominating sport. The nations have signed this agreement known as the Hand and Fist Accord, which pretty much substitutes war and thus less casualties, less loss in resources, and all you got to do is you put in 2 representatives of your nations into this tournament, and the winning nation gets all the resources that all the nations had put in a pot. So again, each 8 of the 8 nations put resources in a pot, and the winner gets everything from that. And economically and all that stuff, the economical health of each nation is ranked by grade. So there's low grade, mid grade, and high grade. Keep it very simple. And so there are some nations that they're aspiring to be high grade nations. There's nations who have lost their high grade ranking and trying to get back up. There's nations that are just trying to get by and just trying to get into some mid grade nation territory ranking. This story of mine follows the main character Abriella Takayama, who is the daughter of Ruben Takayama, who dethroned this winner from the nation's arena, and this guy was winning consecutively. And so it was just a pretty cool story in that. And so you follow his Ruben's daughter, who wants to make her father / mentor proud because her father has taught her martial arts. And this story takes inspiration again from fighting games, anime, and my faith. Those are like the 3 main pillars that have a great influence on this story. So I pull a lot from Judeo-Christian beliefs and the histories and the stories of Israel and their people, but I also pull from anime shonen tropes and framework, right? Because this graphic novel is pretty much a tournament arc. But specifically from fighting games, what I take from it are the fighting game stories, the fighting game moments, right, where it's someone's getting whooped and then they're like at a little bit of health, and then they come right back and they just like go ham and they just destroy, or the double KO moments. And I pull from just like how fighting games are stages, and the stages there's random and stuff like that. And so for the stages, I have actually in the main tournament that goes on, there's this hologram projectors showing the 8 nation stages. So there's a stage representing each nation, right? And it cycles through them and it'll land on one, and then in the center of this massive Coliseum arena, the stage starts morphing, mechanically changing and shifting into that said stage. And there's holograms, walls, so when you walk in the stage, it looks like you're wherever you're at, right? Whether it's some dojo, like some traditional Japanese dojo, or it looks like you're on a mountaintop or something, or at like a beach or something of that nature. And the reason for that, to give that fighting game vibe of the different stages of, there's the invisible boundaries and stuff, which some of these stages have ring outs. So I like playing games like Soul Calibur, been introduced to ring outs and stuff like that. So I bring those elements in, and some stages don't. And there's actually corner combos. There's moments where I have characters fighting and they're getting bounced off like the stage, off the cage wall or whatever and stuff. And I have those moments where someone's winning, but then they get ringed out. And so it's like, oh my gosh. So I try to just keep you on the edge of your seat. And so future Brandon here, I'm going to insert this somewhere in between everything else. I almost forgot about mentioning one aspect of fighting games that really helped inspire the story, was just the idea of just training. When you're learning, you're labbing, you're learning combos, you're learning techniques and special moves and stuff. I try to incorporate that. And even just the aesthetic of what the typical lab looks like in fighting games. That's just something there that I try to incorporate in the story. So I try to bring those fighting game elements as best as I can into this world. So back to past Brandon. What I really love about fighting games is what I really love about martial arts is just the different styles, the characters, the personalities. So I try my best to incorporate that by having characters from each of the different nations with different styles and how they fight and how they maneuver. And I really look at fighting games for references, especially from real world martial arts, but looking at fighting games and for specific moves and interactions and personalities to breed inspiration for my characters and interactions, and yeah, just like the interactions themselves. So like I've seen some like choreographed Tekken 7 fighting, which is pretty cool. I'm watching like pro level gameplay for Street Fighter, for Virtua Fighter, for Tekken, for Dead or Alive, like all that stuff. Dead or Alive was one of the first fighting games I ever played, and so there's a lot of inspiration from there, visually, or certain aspects that I bring over that, like, you know, like it's really cool to see how my brain just pulls fragments from all these different fighting games. And I really want this graphic novel to be a love letter to fighting games. I want this graphic novel to be something that pays homage to it. So if you are into fighting games, you'll notice those little odds and those nods and beats, and you'll be like, oh, that's pretty cool, and get pulled in. Because that's I think what's fun about, or was fun about, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is if you were into Marvel, you were able to just catch these Easter eggs and catch these moments before they were, you know, as they were developing, unfolding in front of your face. So I think it'd be really cool that if you are a Christian, or you're Jewish, or you know that culture, that you'll catch certain of those references and beats without it feeling being thrown down your throat. While also with fighting games, you catch those little moments as well, but still make the story good enough and strategic enough where you don't have to be part of either of those communities for you to enjoy what's happening in front of you, to enjoy reading it and the visuals, right? Because I also want it to feel realistic with the characters, have depth and personality. And so far the reviews I've been getting for the script have been really good. The feedback's been really awesome, so I'm very grateful for that. And now the next step is just a visual piece for it. And so that's just what I'm working on, and I'm definitely going to do some shots, some paneling that look like, you know, referencing fighting games and stuff. I have my stages are references to fighting games. I have reference sheets where I'll show you here, where I literally took visuals from various fighting games to create said vibes. And what's really dope too is I want to go further than just creating a comic, a graphic novel. And I actually have a good friend of mine named Pablo, and who's been working on stage music. And so when you're reading the graphic novel, you can listen to said music while you're reading it, and yeah, maybe do like an audio book for it eventually, or something like an acted out motion comic or something with those tracks being played, and eventually you know, dabble into some Unity and create a 2D fighter version of this game, paying homage to like Street Fighter Third Strike and Street Fighter Alpha, and have the you know, those stage music playing. And you know, me super like I don't think that's a real word. I was gonna say a word, I don't think it's a real word. Dreaming big, right? Continuing to go down that rabbit hole of dreaming, you know, hopefully see it get animated, hopefully see it turn into not more than just a 2D fighting game, but also into maybe into like a 3D one or something. I don't know it's just yet, but just something that really does the story justice, right, where it fits into that. But I love fighting games. I grew up on it. I got one life. I want to make the best of it by doing projects and work on things that I love, that I enjoy, that bring me joy, that make me excited. And so this is just one of those things, for sure. And it's been a blast. It's also been frustrating, but it's been a blast working on this comic, working on this graphic novel. And when I hit writer's block, just playing some fighting games, or watching some anime or something to get me back into the groove and help me fill in the blanks and navigate through some stuff. So yeah, so that's that. It's fighting games. They're awesome. They're freaking awesome, and hopefully I can capture that in this story. It's funny because on YouTube, one last thing before I forget, I made playlists of just different fight scenes from anime and fighting game characters, just to help me stay in line when I'm working on those fight scenes, and to get me inspired for when I work on said fight scenes. And I'll like play it in the background or whatever while I'm like typing up and stuff. So yeah, so that's kind of some insight there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If so, please leave a like and subscribe. Help me reach my goal of 500 subs. And with that being said, take it easy and Godspeed.